What's up, guys? So in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at how you can change a inner tube on your lawnmower or on any tire, any off-road vehicle tire. So stick around, you don't want to miss it. It's coming up right after this. So how many times have you been sitting around mowing your yard or riding on a four-wheeler, ATV, UTV, whatever it may be, and you look down at the tire after getting off of it and you realize it's flat? Tonight, I'm going to show you how to replace an inner tube inside of a busted tire. So come on down with me and we'll take a look at this thing. So as you can see, this is my tire off my John Deere lawnmower. And so what we have going on here, and you can see I bought a spare tire, but we're not going to be dealing with this one tonight. I'm just going to be dealing with this particular tire here because I replaced an inner tube in it last weekend, and well, it didn't work out so well. So I wanted to show you guys what went wrong in my experience so that maybe you won't screw it up whenever you do one. So let's try and take this tire apart. So this comes off of a John Deere riding lawnmower, and as you can see, this particular lawnmower has internal bearings in it. So these are replaceable, these are serviceable. A lot of people like to go back to the original manufacturer for parts, whatnot. I'm not one of those people. If I have something that's super special, super needs to be exactly right, then I'll go back to those manufacturer parts. But if not, I'm a generic kind of guy. If I can get away the cheapest possible way that I can, the more better for me, because that's more time, more energy, and more money saved for me that I can put into other ventures that I have going on. So just because I'm showing you this does not mean that this is the manufacturer's recommendation for you for this type of project. So keep that in mind. I don't want you messing up or voiding a warranty on your piece of equipment just because you watch me do this and you think you can do it yourself. So take it at your own discretion. Use it as you will with your own discretion, but I just wanted to let you guys in on this little tip, this little secret that not many people know about. A lot of people will take it to a tire change store and think that they have to pay in order to get it fixed. And if you take it there, yeah, you're going to have to pay, but why not try to do it yourself before you take it to them? So in doing this particular tire, I have put slime in it, or Fix-A-Flat. Now, I've talked to several guys at different tire stores, at different things that do different things like this, and they hate, I mean they absolutely hate the thought of someone putting Fix-A-Flat in their tire because it makes for a messy job. So keep that in mind. If you're going to take it to a tire store, why not go ahead and just take it and get the whole tire replaced before you even try to put any Fix-A-Flat in it, or even put an inner tube in it. It'll make their life a lot easier and it'll cost you a lot less, because I have seen some places, some shops actually charge more if they see Fix-A-Flat in the tire, just because it's sticky, it gets all over your hands, and it's a bear to clean up off of your hands, off your tools, and off of the rim and everything else. So, all right, we're gonna get started. So you can see that I've got several tools here laid out so that I have something that will help me actually tear this tire apart. And so what it is I've got a couple of screwdrivers. I've got a flathead screwdriver, just a Stanley name brand, no big deal. I've got a cheaper flathead screwdriver. Use something that you don't have to worry about getting damaged, because more than likely you're going to end up bending a screwdriver whenever you do this. So first things first, obviously you want to take the valve cap off, and if you have a valve stem tool, Matter of fact, let me get a valve stem tool. I'll just show you guys exactly what it looks like. So this right here is a valve stem tool. As you can see, there's a slot down the center of it. It has a knurled handle here and a little bit wider of a handheld. Most of the time, these valve stem tools are just going to come and they're going to look just like that. They're not going to be, you're not going to have the handle for it or anything else. It'll just be the valve stem tool itself, which can be used as a valve cap as well. This particular inner tube that I bought at a local big box store, they sold it so that the valve stem cap actually had the valve stem tool inside of it on the underside. So if you don't have it, it's just you can easily make one. I mean, you know, you can make one out of a piece of small metal, a small piece of tube or whatever. But like I said, it's just a little round piece with a cutout notch inside of it. So that fits over the valve stem itself, and then you can remove the whole valve stem. And in doing this, be careful that you wear eye protection and hearing protection, because when you do this, all of the air is going to come rushing out, because you know, you have to think these tires have, I think, a maximum of 10 psi in them, but some tires have maybe 20 or 30 pounds in them. I don't know, but you want to make sure that you keep your face and your hand or your eyes away from the air coming out of this thing. So in taking the valve stem out, that's what the valve stem looks like. The whole principle behind it is your air chuck actually pushes that little pin right there down, which forces a plunger out. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It forces the plunger out, and that's what pushes air in it. Whenever you release the valve chuck off of it, it stops the air from going in and escaping. So once you've released all the air out of it, then you can start to break the bead loose off of the tire, and sometimes this could be kind of tricky. So I recommend, if you have somebody who can actually help you stand on it, or if you have an extra hand or an extra foot, you know, if you're one of those mutants, you know, that have extra appendages. No, I'm just picking. But so what I found easiest to do is actually take your knees and kind of kneel down on it to try and get it loose. And sometimes the bead actually gets stuck, so you can pop it loose with a screwdriver. Really fairly easy, and it should come off the rim. And so what we're talking about here, if I can get this squeezed in, is this particular bead right here. It seats on the outside edge of this rim. And so you're going to want to make sure that you break that loose, because over time the rubber in this tire will actually adhere to the metal on this rim. So you want to make sure that you get that broke loose all the way around. And so once you've successfully done that, now comes the most challenging part, I think, and that is trying to get this tire, the first lip of this bead, over the rim. Some people have different solutions for doing it. Mine, like I said before, this is an old rim that I've got, so I'm just showing it for demonstration purposes. But I've used screwdrivers, I've used pry bars, whatever you've got handy, because it is tight, and I do mean tight. So what I like to do is I like to get my screwdriver down in the tire behind the bead, and I'm just going to try and pry up a little bit. And as you can see, it pries up on top of the lip here. And so all you're going to do is you're going to keep that screwdriver in place, and then get you another screwdriver or a spoon or anything that you got. A tire tool, a big flat blade screwdriver is probably preferred. But then you're just going to stick it in and start to work this bead around. And so you may have to grab a couple screwdrivers. Don't feel bad. Now, if you have an old tire that's dry rotted, really worn out, you're going to want to make sure that you don't accidentally poke through the sidewall, especially if you want to reuse the tire. In this case, I don't necessarily have to because I've got an extra tire right here beside of me, like I told you. So I'm just going to try and keep this bead on top of the rim the best I can. Sorry for the awkward camera angle. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just working it around little by little. And eventually you'll get to a point where it gets super hard to get it over the lip. And right after you get to that point, that's usually whenever you are over the halfway point and the tire will successfully come off the rim itself. As you can see, once you get past about the halfway point, the rim wants to go inside of the tire anyhow. And there you have it. So we have successfully pulled the first bead up off of the tire over the rim. And so if you're changing an inner tube at this point, you should be able to get the inner tube down in here and get it situated. But just in case you can't, or you're changing the tire, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this whole tire off just so you guys can see it. But first I need to get this old inner tube out. I'm actually going to break the bead loose on the other side as well to help make that job a little bit easier. So same thing, knee on either side of the tire, take your flat blade screwdriver, just kind of pry in, and that'll break the bead loose. So as you heard, now the rim is almost completely out. You can see the old inner tube that's in here, and I want to see what the cause of failure was on this. Like I said, I bought it brand new, put it in, did as the instructions said to do, and it ended up busting within the first 2 minutes of driving it. So I'm really curious to see what the cause of failure is on this one. Probably a lack of lubricant on it, possibly, I don't know. So in order to get this inner tube off, it's the same concept. You just want to, but you have to be a little bit more gentle with this inner tube because you will puncture it if you're not careful, if there are any rough places on the rim. As you can see, if you have two people or have a extra set of hands, it makes this a whole lot easier. So I tell you what, since we've already got this thing almost completely off, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take it the rest of the way off. And the second part of the rim, getting it out, is actually a little bit easier, I think. Because you can actually see what you're doing a little bit better. Same principle though. You're just taking your screwdriver, working it around the rim, getting the rim out, and it comes right out. I mean, it's literally that simple, guys. So I'm just going to try and work this down and get it pulled off. Alright guys, so I'm going to install this valve stem back, and we're going to pump this thing up with air, and let's see if we can find out where it's actually leaking from. So you don't have to over tighten the valve stem whenever you put it back in, just snug it down. And so let me get an air chuck and we'll try and inflate this thing and see where the problem is. According to the manufacturers of this particular inner tube, it says not to pump it up without it being enclosed more than about 10 psi. I'm just going to pump it up to where it rounds itself out, and then we'll take a look and see where the leak is. So I'm not seeing a leak or even hearing one, guys, so I'm not exactly sure what happened. To this particular rim, or to this particular inner tube, but whenever I put it on and actually ran the tire, it didn't want to completely seat, and not only that, but it kept leaking the air back out of the inner tube. So it's kind of got me baffled, guys. But needless to say, I bought a new tire over here from a big parts store. I have put sealant in this tire, and as you can see, I mean, it gets your hands pretty nasty looking, right? So that's why you want to, at all costs, if you can, first take it to a shop and actually get it repaired there. They would much more appreciate that than you actually putting sealant inside of the tire or foam rubber or whatever else you plan on putting in it. So again, the manufacturer recommends, of this particular inner tube, recommends that you check the lips of all sides all the way around the rim to make sure there's no nicks, cracks, tears, or sharp points on it. Especially wherever the inner tube is going to be placed, because anything that is semi-sharp on the rim will cause the inner tube to bust, and yeah, then you're going to be out $20, which is what this one here was for me. But it's, you know, it's cheaper than a whole tire. You know, I think I gave $60 for that tire, but you know, you do what you have to do. But the reason this particular tire needed an inner tube was because the sidewalls were so dry rotted that they've cracked, and well, I mean, you guys can see the cracks on the side of it, hopefully. Yeah, so I just needed a new tire, and I didn't feel like going out and spending $100 and something from the big box store for the actual OEM part. So that's why I chose an aftermarket part. It'll work the same, they're same bushings, but like I said, if you're worried about manufacturer's warranty on it, go to the OEM store first, because you don't want to void your warranty if you still have one. This particular mower here was old enough that I didn't have one, so have to do what you have to do. So for those of you wanting to know what size tire this is, it is a 16 by 650, and the one that I purchased from the big box store is a 15 by 6 actually. So it's smaller, which is why I can't replace that tire with this tire, but I can go back and buy the proper one to get it to work for my particular mower. But I think I'm going to put that one on because the yard is overgrown and I need it mowed. So we're just going to get by this weekend and then actually properly replace the tire on this rim maybe next week sometime. So hopefully I can get you guys an updated video on this particular tire on the rim, a new tire on the rim. But yeah, so those are the pieces of a tire that's had a inflatable inner tube put into it. Again, it's kind of a patch to or a solution, a cheaper solution than buying the whole tire itself. And obviously this time it didn't work for me, but hopefully next time it will be smooth sailing. So until next time, guys, we here at Common Sense Garage have been making you look smarter since 2020. We love you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.